edition, but it's gonna show you all the most viral niches, the most viral products, and also the suppliers you guys should be working with. And just so you know, I'm not full of it. This is what it looks like. You guys will be getting this report. So look at all these different categories of products. These are the factory volumes, all the suppliers you should be working with, and literally so comprehensive. Every category you can possibly think of. You stay until the end. You're going to get this email to you because value floats to the top. All right. And also, by the end of this training, you're going to learn how to make e-commerce businesses like this one. They don't require much initial capital, all right? Very, very little. And sites that look like these, all right? Sites that inspire trust. So by the end of this training, you'll learn how to do this step by step, all right? And I know what you guys are thinking. Wow, Kevin, you sound pretty different from everyone else already, but maybe you've had some bad experiences, all right? Maybe you've been to a training like this one before and you're thinking, okay, how can I trust you? You know, I don't know you. How do I trust you? And unfortunately, guys, there's just so many bad practices going out in this space right now. You guys truly have to be careful. You know, I'm sick and tired of seeing people prey on the innocent because they just don't know any better. So what's really important to learn is what makes a good educator and a good mentor. And I'm going to teach you guys that right now. And you guys can decide if I'm a good educator and a mentor. Number one, you got to make sure anyone that you want to learn from, that they are still practicing the business model that they are preaching, and they're practicing it at an elite level. Why would you trust anyone to teach you a business model if they themselves are no longer doing it? Surely, you know, if e-commerce is so amazing, these guys should be able to prove that they are working on e-commerce businesses, right? Or else, if it's so amazing, why aren't they doing it anymore? And also, you got to make sure they're showing you not just a snapshot of results, not just a screenshot of one day, but actually long-term results. Because a common scheme in this industry is people spend a lot of money on ads. They actually don't make that much money on their e-commerce business, but they get that sexy screenshot and bam, they're able to sell their little scammy, you know, terrible, terrible quality programs. And also, anyone that says something is a get-rich-quick scheme or it characterizes entrepreneurship of being fast money or easy, they're lying to you. All good things in life require hard work. So if you're here because you want to get rich and you don't want to put in any work or sacrifice in doing it, I want you to leave right now. Not only is that not true, it's disrespectful to the real entrepreneurs that did put in sacrifice in order to get to where they are. And also, whoever you want to learn from, they should be able to defend their business model against the hardest questions, which is why at the end of this, we're having a Q&A. And why is my training so different from everyone else's? Because of that core principle that just directs everything I do in life. Value floats to the top. So, let me tell you guys a little bit about myself so you understand my entrepreneurial journey. Again, don't worry guys, we are going to get deep into the e-commerce knowledge, but there's a process to this. This is what my business looked like right when it started in a college dorm room, and oh my gosh, how my life has changed in the course of a year. And you know what? This is actually Rachel right next to me on vacation. So Rachel, say hi to everyone one more time. Rachel, say hi to everyone. And guys, I know Rachel's pretty, but no creepy messages for her, all right? She is a nice girl. When I tell my story, it really starts with my parents. You see, my parents, they were poor Chinese immigrants that came to this country in search of the American dream. My mom came here to work 2 full-time jobs, waiting tables and cleaning houses. I would see her come home at 4 a.m., get back up at 6 a.m. and go to work. And my dad, even though he had a PhD from China, the West didn't respect his degree. So he was working less than minimum wage, scrubbing lab equipment. And if you guys have immigrant parents, you guys know what I'm talking about. And I always get emotional when I talk about them, but I always tell people, my parents, they couldn't give me anything material. But what they gave me was the mindset and the values that are in here, and that is everything. And even though my parents are responsible for all the opportunities I've had, for me even being in this country, I actually had a lot of tension with them, and because they're very traditional Chinese immigrants, they really determined that I had 2 paths for my life. Either I was going to be an Asian doctor, or I was gonna be a good Asian engineer. Alright, but I wasn't interested in any of these. And one of the biggest misconceptions that people have of me is, oh my gosh, Kevin did $20 million as an entrepreneur in his first year. He must have been a rock star his whole life, throughout kindergarten, throughout high school, throughout college. And as flattering as that is, guys, that simply is not true. You see, this was the track record that I had just a few years ago. In high school, I failed a class, and I was suspended for academic dishonesty, cheating. All right, one of the most embarrassing things you can get caught for. I had to report it for my college apps. I had a tense relationship with my family. I felt like there was a cultural gap, and they didn't really understand me or care about the things that I wanted in life. And I played video games all day, every single day, instead of doing my homework and studying for tests. And for those of you guys that know what League of Legends is, that was my heroin, all right? I would play that thing all day, okay? And for those of you guys that know what that is, Annie was my favorite character, but man, they were dark times. And in fact, I was even arrested and charged with residential burglary, all right, at 17, and almost went to prison for 15 years because of it. And what did I do? I threw a massive party in my neighbor's house without their permission, and man, did it piss my parents off, and it was just such dark moments in my life. I know what you guys are thinking. Wow, Kevin, that's amazing and all, but there's no way that's true. There's no way you almost went to prison. There's no way any of this is true. Why you gotta be so dramatic? Well, in fact, my story is so crazy, guys. It's so nuts that TED wanted me to give a TED Talk just about it. So you know what, Rachel? I think they're ready to watch a clip of that, and you guys can see the mindset I had a few years ago and how my life has changed. My sophomore year of high school, I was caught in one of the biggest academic dishonesty scandals in my school's history, and I have to report it on my college applications. Later that summer, I threw a party on someone else's property and was arrested. I entered someone's home without their permission and trashed everything. I was charged with residential burglary, a felony in the state of Illinois. I can still remember getting handcuffed, being dragged out in front of my family, and being told that I would spend the next 15 years of my life in prison. You never forget moments like that one. The world around you is silent, even the sobs of your mother. You see, you can feel anger or sadness, and there are always levers that you can pull to change your state. Regret is cruel because there are no levers. Everything already happened in the past. I remember leaving an attorney's office with my father, and there we sat silently in the car. I felt numb with regret. So, you guys heard me, alright? You guys heard me. I felt numb with regret, because regret is cruel. And I want you guys to promise something, alright? No matter what happens in training, I want you guys to commit to not feeling regret ever again, because it is a cruel emotion. So type out no regrets. Type out no regrets right now if you are promising that. And is this a little silly of an exercise? Of course, but there's something important about making a promise to yourself and keeping it, and also making a promise to others. So type out no regrets right now if you're committed to never feeling regret. So I was a rambunctious person growing up. I was always independent. I never listened to my parents, and I told myself, oh my gosh, that didn't get me anywhere. I almost went to prison. And what ended up happening to me? Well, I got lucky. And I think had I looked a little bit differently, had I been in a different area, I probably wouldn't be here with you guys today. So I went to college and I told myself, oh my gosh, no more rebellion. I'm going to listen to everyone. I'm listening to the teachers, my parents, all the professors. I'm going to follow that straight arrow path my parents always wanted. So I worked very, very hard in college for 4 years, and I told myself, hey, I'm going to get a great corporate job. I'm going to climb that corporate ladder, all right? And that's what I'm going to do, because that's what my parents wanted. But I worked so hard for 4 years, and I finally got it. That corporate job offer that was going to pay me a decent amount of money right after I graduated college at 22. But, something really crazy happened. This thing that I thought I wanted for 4 years, I worked so hard to get, when I finally got it, I felt empty. I felt so empty and unfulfilled. And maybe some of you guys are feeling this right now. Maybe you're working a job that pays the bills, that can take you and your family out on vacation once in a while, but it doesn't give you fulfillment, and it doesn't give you happiness. And if you're feeling this way, type it out right now. Let me know if you're feeling this way. And I realized this was the first time in my life I ever even asked myself, what is it that makes me happy and fulfilled, instead of just listening to others? Because even though it was going to be a pretty good job at age 22, does this sound like a reward to you guys? Working 60, 80-hour weeks without having the time to actually enjoy life and spending with the people I care about and pursuing my passions. Being a small cog in a massive organization that can replace me at any time. Having my schedule always dictated by other people, having my destiny outside of my control, and always receiving only a fraction of the value that I'm generating for everyone else. One of the favorite stories I like to tell is there once was a really rich CEO, an entrepreneur, and he had 5 Lamborghinis and a private jet, and he had his employee over for dinner, and the employee came over, saw all this as well. Oh my gosh, sir, this is so inspirational, this is so amazing. And the CEO looks his employee in the eyes and says, good, because if you keep working hard, if you keep working harder than ever, then maybe next year I'll buy another one. And that's the reality, guys. If you're working for someone else, you are never going to get your value. And also, I didn't want my trajectory to be outside of my control. No matter how hard I worked, if my manager just didn't like me, I would be absolutely screwed. And how did I realize all of this? How did I realize all of this even though I was so determined to follow a stereotypical path? It took a very traumatic event in my life. See, guys, this is Kyle, and he was one of my closest friends and mentors throughout high school and college. And I apologize a little bit for being emotional, but he was always facing mental health issues, and he ended up working a very, very intense corporate job that I don't think was too good for him, and he ended up taking his own life. And here, I'm not here to suggest that corporate America was responsible for killing him. I'm not here to suggest that, because he went there, that's the reason, but it reminded me of something. I realized after his passing away that I'm on limited time, that even at age 22, I don't want to sacrifice happiness or fulfillment for even 1 second, because you never know what life could bring you. So I gave up that corporate job. I moved into my parents' basement with the savings I had from the summer before, and I started doing research, and I started thinking, what is going to give me true fulfillment and happiness? And I kept thinking and researching. I realized something. The most successful people that I admire aren't just people that are financially successful. They're people that make a lot of money but also live incredible lifestyles. And I determined something, that there are 3 core drivers of happiness. You see, being happy is to be free. And guys, I know this is not business related or e-commerce specific. We're going to get there, but everything is about happiness and fulfillment. That's why I even did the things I did. You see, life is about being free. If you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, that is true happiness and fulfillment. And there's 3 dimensions. There's financial freedom. That's the ability to buy the things you want and the experiences you want. But there's also freedom of time, because what's the point of making money if you don't have time to actually enjoy it with your loved ones or reap the fruits of your labor? And also, there's freedom of determination. That's having the ability each and every day to decide what you are doing and also decide where your life is headed. You know what society tells us to do? Society says, hey, you're going to find a little bit of this in the beginning and forget about these 2 things. And if you work and work and work and you're responsible and you save, at 65 when you retire, you'll finally maybe have all 3 things. But no, not for me. Even at age 22, I said, hey, life is too short for me to be unhappy or unfulfilled for even a single moment. And you know what? There's only one way to achieve all 3 dimensions, and I realized this in my research. That if you pursue an ordinary path, if you do the same things day in and day out as everyone else, you will only get ordinary results. You see, this is how 99.9% of people are living right now. no matter what you do, even if it's a stable job, there's a little bit of risk that you take, meaning the company you work for could always go under business. You could always get fired for whatever reason. So people are forced to take a little bit of risk. And in return, they find an opportunity that gives them a little bit of reward that's higher than the tiny bit of risk. And they think that's awesome. That's as good as they can get. But while 99.9% of people live this way, proactive people discovered this. And while society makes us take a little bit of risk, we can take voluntary risk of our own free will, voluntary risk on top. And what's so magical about it is it unlocks a massive reward premium that is way higher than the risk that we took. And this is how at age 23, I was able to build a business that generated $20 million in sales. This is why billionaires exist in this country, not because they're harder workers or because they're working more hours than everyone else or because they're smarter than everyone else, because they are more proactive. So I believe life is all about calculated risk and taking the right opportunities. And the only way to achieve all three dimensions of freedom is to pursue entrepreneurship. So I know what you guys are thinking. All right, Kevin, you proved yourself. I want to be an entrepreneur. That's why I'm in this training. I want to do it. But what do I do? Because there's so much messaging that we're getting each and every day and all these different opportunities. And guys, in each of these industries, there are people that are making a lot of money. But guess what? Unless these opportunities satisfy all three dimensions of freedom, all right, I don't want to get involved with them, because then what's the point? And maybe you guys are already recognizing some of these that don't satisfy all three dimensions, because not all opportunities and businesses are made equal. Because even though I was in my parents' basement, even though I was a beggar and I was in no position to be a chooser, I didn't want any of these situations. I didn't want to work on something for decades and decades with no guarantee that I was going to make money from it and that I would be living broke this whole time. So no apps. No Silicon Valley for me, right? I don't want to wait for some VC fund or wait for some IPO before I can cash out and just waste all my time in between. Nope, that's not for me. And also, I couldn't pursue anything or my age, my network, or my experience would strongly impact success because I was young, or I was 23 when I started. My network, my parents are poor Chinese immigrants, and also my experience, I had no experience. We know what I would have loved to do, and all respect to the president, but hey, I would have loved if my dad could give me a $10 million loan the moment I graduated college and I could go gobble up real estate. I didn't have that luxury, and many of you don't either. All right, so some opportunities were inaccessible to me. And also, I didn't want to do anything where the variables for success were outside of my control and I had to depend on outside things. So if you guys know what Amazon is, Amazon FBA, maybe you've attended trainings for that. I didn't want to do anything like that because Amazon is notorious for stealing products from entrepreneurs and making their own version and just kicking that entrepreneur off their platform. You can see this all over Google. Every Amazon Basics, every Amazon Essentials, chances are it was taken from an entrepreneur. So why would I ever build a business? Why would I ever compete in something where literally the platform is competing against me? That's like playing basketball and knowing the referee is lacing up in the other team's uniform. So no Amazon for me, all right? I want to control the variables for success. And also, I don't want to trade one corporate boss, all right, just for thousands and thousands of other bosses in the form of clients. So no agencies for me. So how do I evaluate a new business venture? All right, and these are 4 pillars, 4 criteria I use even today, whether I'm investing in a business because I'm an active investor or whether I'm building another business from scratch. And unless that idea, that business model satisfies all 4 criteria, I don't want to get involved in them. And throughout this, think about those other opportunities and they satisfy all 4 of these. The first one is a high chance of success. I know what you guys are thinking. Of course, Captain Obvious. Of course, we want something that has a high chance of success. All right, guys, stay with me because I'm going to teach you guys a strategy on how you can predict for the success of a business. And also, we got to make sure it's accessible, given our situation, our access to resources that we can actually do well. And also, I don't want to do any businesses that aren't passive. Warren Buffett has a beautiful quote. that unless you can make money when you're asleep, then you will never be rich. And it's so insightful, and it's so true. No matter how much money you make per hour, if you're trading away your time for money, you always have a cap to your potential. So I don't want any businesses that aren't passive. And also, I only want businesses that are sustainable, meaning if I put in a lot of work, or I put in a lot of effort and I build it from the ground up, that it's gonna last a long time. That it's not just Facebook that bans me, or payment processors that ban me, or angry customers. I wanna build something sustainable and legitimate. So, is my approach to e-commerce, all right? And I approach it in a different way from everyone else. Is my approach to e-commerce a good business? So let's find out. Well, odds of success. Does it have a high chance for success? And what does that mean? Well, it means this. You want the value of your hard work, 1 hour of your time, to be worth more than everyone else's. And what do I mean by that? Let me clarify. You see, in the early 2000s, there was a very magical event that happened called the dot-com boom, or the tech bubble. And you see, during the early 2000s, during the growth of the internet age, the best thing to do with your time was to learn how to code or develop a website or an app. And you see, 1 hour learning how to code was worth more than thousands and thousands of hours learning how to be a lawyer or a doctor, even at the best schools in the world. And you know what? That's how Mark Cuban, the billionaire on Shark Tank, was able to sell broadcast.com to Yahoo for close to $6 billion. And guess what, guys? 2 years later, broadcast.com was no longer around. And I think Mark Cuban pulled off one of the biggest heists in history, and no disrespect to him. In fact, I admire him. But do you guys think that Mark Cuban was just harder working than everyone else, that he would just work more hours than everyone else, that he was just more educated than everyone else? No. He wasn't smarter than all these doctors or lawyers. He was more proactive. You see, what I found in my research is that when there's great moments of disruption, there's also massive opportunity. And while most people in the world are just looking around waiting for the disruption to pass, the proactive people seize opportunity. And we all know history repeats itself. In 2008, we saw the financial crisis happen. All right, real estate prices absolutely plunged. All right, assets plunged. And if you were involved in real estate, if you were gobbling up these undervalued assets, you had a chance to make a fortune on the recovery. Not because you were smarter than everyone else, not because you were harder working than everyone else, because you were more proactive. And it repeated itself again. In 2011, we saw Bitcoin. It was worth $20 a coin. And by 2018, it was worth $20,000 a coin. All right, if you invested $1,000, if you were one of those early crypto traders, you put in $1,000, that would have turned into $1 million. And I know a lot of these crypto millionaires. I can tell you right now. All right, most of them didn't even go to college. They're not more educated than everyone else. Okay, they're not more hardworking than everyone else or smarter. They are just more proactive. I know what you guys are thinking right now. Oh my gosh, Kevin, that sounds amazing, but crap, I missed out. You know, maybe you weren't even old enough during the tech bubble. You know, the financial crisis happened and you had no idea how to take advantage. You know, maybe the Bitcoin phase happened, all right, and you weren't there. You had no idea what was going on. So I thought the same thing. I was so bummed. I said, oh my gosh, am I screwed? Can I just never be a successful entrepreneur like my idols? So I asked myself, what is the biggest disruption in the world right now? All right, and I know it's recent, all right, but don't say coronavirus, guys. Something even greater, something that was even happening in 2018 when I started. What's the biggest disruption? All I had to do was look outside my front doors. And I saw the biggest brands, the biggest retailers in the world closing down on every single street corner. Iconic American brands that have been profitable, making so much money for decades, even centuries, and they were dropping like flies. And while all these retail businesses were going under, I saw startups like Allbirds go from 0 to $2 billion in 2 years. Like Dollar Shave Club lose $5 million a month, and still sell their business for $500 million in cash. And I saw Kylie Jenner become the world's youngest billionaire. And I don't know about you guys, Okay, but when I think billionaire, I think Elon Musk. I think Mark Zuckerberg, all right? Kylie Jenner, I don't think she's smarter than everyone else. I don't think she's more educated than everyone else. I don't think she's harder working than everyone else. And I'm not trying to disrespect her. In fact, I respect her a lot because I think Kylie was proactive. So clearly e-commerce is the biggest disruption and opportunity going on right now. But are we too late? Is it too late? Is it just like Bitcoin? Is it just like real estate where, the height has already passed? Well, don't take it from me, all right? Take it from some stone cold statistics. In this moment right now, 50% of all businesses don't even have an online presence. You know what? The 50% that do, some of them have absolutely terrible websites. It's egregious to look at. And also, when I was doing this research, all right, when I started my business in 2018, the share of all retail that was online was 8%. Now, do you guys think this is a big number, or do you guys think this is a low number? Big or low? All right, guys, chime in. Do you guys think this is big or low? It's low. You might call me crazy. You might call me audacious, all right? You might call me a dreamer, but I strongly believe that one day we will live in a 50-50 world where 50% of people are buying online and 50% of people are buying in person. And you know what? When we get to that reality, the business that I built in 2018, starting in August 2018, that did $20 million in its first year, by the end of 2021, when it hits 50-50, that's what everyone's projecting, it'll quadruple, all right? It'll 6 times. My goal is $100 million in sales by the end of 2021, not because I'm working any harder, not because I'm any more innovative, just because the market is growing so fast and more people are buying online. And in 2019, we saw that happen and more than doubled in market value. So all e-commerce businesses, all right, if they were still alive, they had double their market. So clearly e-commerce gives us the highest chance of success. But is it passive? All right, is e-commerce passive? Is this something we have to do each and every day, hour and hour, or trading hours for money? No, because we are marketing to the entire world. And also customers can buy at any point, anytime there is daylight in somewhere in the world, and they can buy at any point. This is what my phone looks like every single day. All right, when I wake up in the morning, and this is a particular day on one of my 5 e-commerce brands, a particular day in November, all right, and take a look. Take a look at the sales that are coming in every hour throughout the day, all right? $105,000 in gross sales, and guess what? $4,000 in return. So clearly I'm not doing anything scammy. I'm not pissing any customers off, but this is true passive income. All right, so I think we can all agree that e-commerce is a passive business, but is it sustainable? And this is where you guys might have heard some noise about drop shipping and e-commerce, how it's not a good way to make money anymore, that no one can do it, it's oversaturated, all right? And guys, stay with me, okay? Because my approach to e-commerce is unlike anyone else's. You guys can challenge me on that during the Q&A. But why are people saying this? Why are there so many videos saying drop shipping is dead, e-commerce is dead? Well, it's because as much opportunity as there is in e-commerce, the space is also getting cleaned up. Meaning Facebook started sending out customer surveys at random. And if you piss too many customers off, they're gonna ban your ads and even kick you off their platform. And payment processors that used to work with a lot of e-commerce businesses don't want to process payments for businesses that are schemy, scammy, or pissing customers off. And even customers, they're just getting smarter. They're not falling for free plus shipping, single product stores, general stores. They've gotten burned and they've learned their lessons. And a lot of these models that used to work, they just don't work anymore, and they're schemy. All right? And while everyone else was approaching the business model the wrong way, I decided I was going to approach it in a different way, in a way where value always floats to the top, in a way that actually makes customers happy and provides long-term value not only to myself, but to everyone else. So we're going to now go over the two business models that you will learn from gurus and YouTubers. All right, they only teaching these two business models. We're gonna go over them, and also I will reveal my own. So the first model that people are teaching is called the general store, and some of you guys might have heard of this before. All right, and it's basically when you put a lot of random products on a website. It's super disorganized, it's unrelated, and you're leveraging these baity, scammy tactics to generate sales, like fake reviews, like fake stats about how many customers are on there. And you guys have seen these tricks before, fake countdown timers. And the focus is to sell these wow factor gimmicky products. That moon lamp, that fidget spinner, that race car that turns into a boat when it hits the water, and odds are the customer's never gonna get the product, okay? And even if they do, it's so poor quality and different from what they've seen, they're gonna be so angry. And the goal here, guys, is to test so many different products. You find one that works, you scale it to the moon, and the moment it gets saturated, it doesn't work anymore, you find the next viral product. And this is an example of a general store. And I hope you guys are already seeing some problems with this business model, but look at that. There's so much random crap. Car accessories, kitchen accessories, fitness stuff, so disorganized, right? And don't just take it from me, all right? Take it from one of the biggest gurus in the space. He has thousands of students, and this is the site he uses to advertise his program. And I'll agree, it looks a lot cleaner, a lot crisper, a lot more professional than the previous one. When I did more research into this guy, and I'm not gonna call out his name, you guys might know who he is because I'm all about positive vibes, I realized something that broke my heart. That the business model that he is preaching, he hasn't even done in years. And it's so obvious why he hasn't, because he's pissed off so many customers. All right, he's pissed off so many people. And why does that break my heart? Because he's teaching so many people, all right, to give him their money. He's teaching them how to do a business model he himself knows doesn't work and knows isn't legitimate. Because these are the problems with the general store. And some of you guys are already thinking about this. It isn't sustainable. There's a lot of random products on a website and it's disorganized. It doesn't inspire trust. It's not passive. The moment you even make any amount of money off of one viral product, you got to reinvest it to get more viral products, right? You're always on this hunt for viral products after one another. And it's not legitimate, okay? Sites come and go so quick, products come and so quick, you're never gonna invest money in improving product quality, in improving shipping speed or building infrastructure, and you are doomed to be in trouble, whether it's from customers, payment processors, the Facebook ads, or even the government. So no general stores for us, all right? That's not something that we wanna build. What about the other one? The other one everyone is teaching is called single product stores. And it's very similar to a general store. It's basically when an entire store is centered around one product, all right? It's the same wow factor, gimmicky type of product. You guys have probably seen these around before. And the focus is to create a lot of different single product stores, hope one goes viral, scale it to the moon, and again, the moment it gets saturated, or the moment it just doesn't work anymore, you gotta hope you have another viral product store that is working. And this is an example of a single product store. And let me tell you, I think
Today's course is MosquitoTrapX.com. It was a viral store that did over 500K in the first 2 months. I scaled very fast on this store, and a lot of my competition started to take notice as I scaled to a peak of 30K per day. People were even posting about my site all over ecom groups on Facebook. Eventually, tons of copycats showed up, and I had to descale the store. It sucked having to scale down so quick, but in the end, I was still very profitable. And
so you guys heard, all right, and if you guys have connection issues, you can always hit reconnect, but you guys heard this guy himself, all right, he's teaching thousands of people this business model. Guess what? He did make some money. He did make some money on it. I give him props for that, but this business model he's teaching thousands of people to do, he knows it's unsustainable, all right, and that breaks my heart because the single product is not sustainable. It's not passive, all right? You got to keep making these viral single product sites. You'll never get the free time. You got to keep hunting down these gimmicks, and it's not legitimate because these products come and go. You heard what happened the moment competition moved in, right? You just lost this business. This business you work hard to build because it's not easy. E-commerce isn't easy, all right? It's never going to be legitimate. You're always going to make customers angry. You're never going to invest in infrastructure or higher quality. You know what, guys? You don't want a business that looks like this. You don't. You want businesses that look like these, that are actually sustainable. You want your hard work to actually pay off dividends for a long time. So here's screenshots of 2 of my e-commerce businesses. This is the first profitable e-commerce business I ever started in August 2018. And look, more than a year later, it had its best day, doing over $100,000 in sales. And here is another one of my e-commerce businesses. And yeah, throughout the years, there's ups and downs here and there because of Chinese New Year and different holidays. But look at that. That's the sustainability that you want. Because the type of e-commerce brand that we want to build, we don't want to copy those gurus and those YouTubers. We want something that's sustainable and truly passive. All right, and we want to differentiate ourselves from the competition. You heard, the moment the competition moved in for that single product site, he was screwed. So while everyone else is competing on price and product, we are going to compete on brand execution. And why is that so important? What's the value of brand execution? Well, think about it. Think about Apple. Apple manufactures its iPhone 11 Pros for $130 and sells them for $1,000. Now, is Apple the only phone company out there that sells phones that look like iPhones? No, of course not. Right? It's because customers are buying into Apple's branded experience. Okay, and guess what? Executing on brand isn't any more difficult than the other models. I'm going to show you guys how. But we want to build a business that inspires trust and professionalism in customers. All right, we don't want the same business models everyone else has been using that's pissed so many people off. And we want to provide value to customers. All right, we want to actually make them happy because we're indexed in value floating to the top. And also, our business model, the one that we are going to build, is unlike anyone else in the space. So what is my approach to e-commerce that is so different? Well, it's called branded niche e-commerce. All right, and it's all about bootstrapping an e-commerce brand from scratch. And there's 2 key words here. There's brand and there's niche. All right, why is niche important? Well, think about it. The most popular businesses that customers trust, are they single product stores and general stores? No. They are niche stores, like the North Face. The North Face is an outerwear niche business. They don't sell one product. They don't sell a bunch of random crap. They sell a bunch of different products that fit in the theme of outerwear, like gloves, like mittens, snow pants, right? Jackets, vests, parkas, like Polo Ralph Lauren. All right, they're not a random general store or a single product store. They're a niche store selling preppy niche items, right? Like polos, chinos, shoes, okay? The brands that customers trust are niche brands, all right? Not single product ones or general stores. There's no general stores that are legitimate except for like Walmart and Target and Costco. So what are the type of businesses I create? Well, the type of businesses I'm gonna teach you guys how to create look like these, like EarthPack. All right, that is an adventure dry bag store. And does this look like, does this look like a drop shipping business? Does this look like a single product general store? No. All right, and these bags that are selling for $50 a pop, where did I get from them? All right, where do these bags come from? Where can you find them? Find them on AliExpress for $8. All right, and yes, you notice that there's logos on those earth packs. Don't worry, I'm going to teach you guys how to get logos onto your products, but that's the power of brand. Stores like this one that's selling indestructible, durable, steel-toed shoes. And look at this site. Does this look like a general store? Does this look like a single product store? Does this look like a scheme? No. And these shoes that are selling for $120 a pop right there. AliExpress, $21, and the logo isn't even changed. That's the power of brand. Stores like this one that's selling trench coats and preppy apparel, and these trench coats that are $120, $150 a pop. There you go, $33 a unit, and that's the power of brand. So, clearly my business model is a lot more sustainable than these other guys, but Is it accessible? That's the final pillar we got to complete. Is it accessible? And let's take a step back, all right? Let's take a step back and think. What are some things that you need in order to begin a successful business, all right? And I want people to, chime in. What are the things you need to begin a business, all right? Put it in the chat, all right? Participate. What are the things you need to begin a business, all right? This is a learning experience. All right, exactly, guys, exactly, okay? And if you guys are private messaging me, posting in the everyone chat, these are the barriers, all right? You need a lot of money because you gotta find someone to manufacture your products. You gotta find someone to design your products. You need to find someone to ship your products, logistics. You need a way to sell to customers. You need a way to advertise. You need some expertise, all right? It's hard. And that's when I realized the advice that we were getting from parents, from society, from these older people, it's not bad advice. It's not malicious advice, it's just outdated. I strongly believe that 10, 15, 20 years ago, the best way to be an entrepreneur was to go to college, was to get that corporate job, was to make those connections, was to just save and save and save and finally mortgage your house and go all in on that idea. I think 10, 15-year-olds, that is what you had to do to be an entrepreneur, but not anymore. All right, because the digital revolution has changed everything. It's nothing short of a revolution. So what are the tools that you and I are going to be using in order to bootstrap an e-commerce brand from scratch, all right? The first tool is, you guessed it, Facebook, all right? And if this is review information from some of you guys are more advanced, don't worry, I'm about to blow your minds, all right? Stay with me here, okay? Why is Facebook so valuable? Why is it worth billions? Why is Mark Zuckerberg so rich? It's not because he built the best social media platform, it's because he built the best advertising platform. You see on Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, all the assets that it owns, there are over 3 billion people around the world on it. That's a big market. And 74% of them have higher disposable incomes compared to other social media platforms. And the cool thing about Facebook, and the creepy thing, is they aggressively collect data from you guys, all right, from everyone in their most sensitive areas, what you're messaging your friends, what you're posting on Facebook, what you're looking at on Instagram, what you're browsing on the internet, okay? And we've all been in those creepy situations where we're talking about dogs out loud and all of a sudden next day you see dog ads, okay? Type of 1 if something creepy like that has happened to you. And in fact, Facebook's algorithm is so powerful, they got fined, okay? They got fined for hacking elections, okay? There's a documentary called The Great Hack on Netflix, okay? And let me tell you, it is crazy. And I'm not here to get political, or I'm not here to talk about ethics, okay? Because it is a little creepy sometimes, but this is great news for entrepreneurs. And the coolest thing about Facebook is that your dollar spent on Facebook, if you know what you're doing, is as good as anyone else's, all right? It's as good as Bill Gates' dollar, because Facebook, it doesn't discriminate. And the coolest thing, and I keep saying this because I'm so excited, there's so many cool things. The best thing about e-commerce for you and I, given our situations, for someone that had no money living in his parents' basement, is that no one else knows what they're doing. There's no way to learn Facebook ad strategy. There's no way to learn e-commerce strategy at Harvard, Yale, or Princeton because it's so cutting edge and new. The only way you can learn is from someone that bootstrapped their e-commerce brand like I did. And you know what? This is so incredible. Think about it. The world's best advertisers, for years they were using billboards, print, TV commercials, magazines. How are they going to now compete on Facebook? It's a completely different game. So they had to start back at ground zero, just like I did, and they let a 23-year-old kick their butts. But that's not the only innovation we're going to be leveraging. There's also, you guessed it, Shopify. Let me tell you, there's no better sound than the ching you get when you get an order. Why is Shopify so talked about? Why are people so obsessed with it? Why is it also worth billions? Well, they solved the problem. They made it easy for anyone to start selling things on the internet. And what they did is they made website design, something you need to know coding experience for now, no technical experience necessary, drag and drop, very easy using themes. And they allowed you to add essential business functions just by going onto their app store, just like an Apple app store, and downloading apps. You need a way to email your customers, bam, that's an app. You need a way to track orders for your customers, bam, that's an app. You need a way to source products. Bam, that's an app. You need a way to give discounts. That's an app. All right, and they're $5, $10 a month, so you don't have to hire expensive developers anymore. And in fact, Shopify, since it started, has helped new merchants earn $55 billion. All right, I don't know what you guys are thinking, but hey, my 20 million in year one, it's sounding a little scrubby. All right, there's a lot more pie for me to eat. And the coolest thing about Shopify that you can't get with Amazon is you own your own sales channel. They can't kick you off because Shopify doesn't compete against its own users. But that's not the only innovation. We've got to give a shout out to Alibaba. So what is Alibaba? If you guys know who Jack Ma is, he's the richest man in Asia. And how did he earn his billions? Well, he solved another massive problem. You see, he was noticing that Chinese factories were doing all of the world's manufacturing. They were working with the biggest brands out there, but they were getting screwed. Meaning a company like Polo Ralph Lauren, right? They could tell a factory, hey, we want to order 10,000 polos. And last minute, they say, nah, we only want 8,000. And now these factories were left over with 2,000 polos they couldn't get rid of, right? They had to eat those costs. So what Jack Ma did, and why can those factories, why do they have to just accept it, right? It's because Polo has all the leverage. There's not many brands as big as Polo. There's a lot of factories. So what Jack Ma did, he built an online platform. Okay, you must have heard of AliExpress. They built an online platform, all right, that connected these factories to entrepreneurs and allow these factories to sell this excess inventory at wholesale low prices. In fact, there's over 100 million products across almost every category you can think of on this website. And you guys have heard about the dropshipping business model. Is dropshipping dead? Guess what? This is a stone cold true statistic. This past year, 23% of all online sales, that's $85 billion worth of transactions was made through the dropshipping business model. So for everyone that says e-commerce is dead, dropshipping is dead, all right, well, I've got 85 billion reasons why it's not. And me personally, I've got over 20 million reasons why it's not dead. And I know you guys have heard some things about AliExpress, and it's true. There are some problems. Sometimes the product quality isn't that good. Sometimes the shipping speed is a little slow. But guess what? I'm going to teach you guys a way on how you can take advantages of the strengths of AliExpress and the dropshipping business model while mitigating its weaknesses. But that's not the only innovation. We've got Photoshop and stock images, and it blows my mind that no one in the space talks about this. Why am I so excited about this? Well, Photoshop is the premier tool used by the leading photographers, advertisers, entertainers in the world. It's the software people use to edit Victoria's Secret models. And for the first time, it's available to you and I for $10 a month. And stock photos, why are they so magical and it's crazy no one talks about this? What is a stock photo? You see, when a big brand like the North Face hires a photographer to do a photo shoot that's very professional and one of the best photographers in the world, he might take 300 photos. And now North Face might say, hey, we only want 100 of those photos. Now this photographer has 200 photos left over. What does he do? He puts them on a stock photo website. You can buy them for pennies on the dollar. And now, by combining a little bit of Photoshop, some beginner knowledge, or very little Photoshop, and stock images, we are able to create websites and advertisements that look just like the biggest brands in the world. And also, there's one final innovation. You might be thinking, wow, Kevin, that's amazing. I understand this business kind of now, but what about personnel? How do I hire people? Minimum wage is so expensive in certain states in the United States. Well, Upwork came along, and why is Upwork worth billions? They solved another problem. They allowed for entrepreneurs to recruit from the global talent pool, all right, because there's countries like Ukraine, like the Philippines, like Russia, okay, where there's really smart people, smarter people than me that are so hardworking, and just because of where they are born, they don't have opportunity because the economies there aren't doing so well. And these people, they only want $3, $4, $5 an hour, and they can do such good work. And you know what? They never screw you over because you gave them an opportunity, right? You gave them a life that they didn't even have in their own country. And Upwork allows you to hire and fire employees without red tape and any legal paperwork. So now you can fulfill essential business needs at minimum cost with high quality talent. And over time with Upwork, you can build remote teams that completely make your business fully automated so you don't have to do that much work. In fact, I'm gonna show you guys a week in April, guys. This is a particular week in April. This is when my Upwork Upwork look like? Just so you guys know I'm not full of it. These are all of the employees on here, all the customer support team, and look at that. 570 hours worked for $3,000. That's all I had to pay for this much labor. And you know what? They were so happy because that's more than they would ever make in their own countries. They're not going to screw me over any time. So how do all these innovations come together? All right, how does it come into one big picture? Well, here is the dropshipping business model. And again, if you've seen this before, stay with me because I'm going to give you a twist. All right, no one really understands it. Essentially, what you're going to do, you're going to build a beautiful website with Shopify, right? You're going to populate it with products from AliExpress, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to create engaging advertisements, all right, with stock photos and Photoshop. Then you use Facebook to target potential customers. They're going to come onto your site and give you money for orders, and then you take their information, send it over to the Chinese factory, and the factory will send the product to the customer. Now you don't have any inventory risk. There's really no investment that's involved. It's very lean. There's very low cost barriers, and this whole time you can build out a great team on Upwork that automates your business. But guess what, guys? If you've seen this before, this is not how it really works. And that infographic is how everyone else thinks what is going on in reality. But let me tell you what is actually happening. You see, AliExpress, it's not the factories. Okay, AliExpress, these factories that have so much excess inventory, that's not AliExpress. AliExpress is agents. All right, you see, these factories have excess inventory. The agent buys it from the factory, and then it's the agent on AliExpress that's working with the entrepreneur and sending it to the customers. I know what you guys are thinking. Wow, Kevin, okay, I get it. There's agents now. You know, why'd you have to make a big deal out of it? What's so important out of it? And in fact, you guys are thinking the same way these gurus and these YouTubers are also thinking about it, but that's a big, big mistake. And what do I mean by that? Why is it a big mistake? Well, let me clarify by introducing you guys to my agent. His name is Alex. And this is one of my favorite pictures because this is the first time Alex and I ever met in person, even though we did millions in dollars and transactions prior to that, all right? He met me just December 2019 in person for the first time because he flew out to Bangkok to see me speak in front of 3,000 people at Affiliate World. But why is Alex so awesome? Why are AliExpress agents actually such great assets? Well, first of all, they're entrepreneurs. They're scrappy. They're hustlers. They want better for their family just like you and I do. They also challenge the status quo, all right? And the only reason why I'm able to make a penny, the only reason why I'm even able to make a dime is because these guys, they don't have access to Shopify or Facebook. If they use Shopify or Facebook, they go to prison because of the censorship laws. All right, if they could do it, I wouldn't even make a single cent. But these guys are looking for opportunity. They're hungry. They're entrepreneurial. And in fact, they have so much experience negotiating with factories. Remember, it's the agent buying the excess inventory from the factory. And also Alex, he manages his team and his facility. These guys have warehouses. They have teams. They're experts at fulfillment and logistics. And you know what these agents want more than anything else? Because clearly they have a lot of things that we want. What do they want more than anything else? They want stability. Because the only time Alex or these AliExpress agents lose money is when a dropshipper, you saw those gurus, starts selling a product, they take on the inventory risk, and bam, the dropshipper gets banned from Facebook, or they just leave. Like you saw, the site just goes after 1 month, and guess what? Now, Alex has all these moon lamps, has all these gimmicks, has all these fidget spinners he can't sell. That's the only time he loses money. So what he wants more than anyone else is a stable, consistent business partner. So guys, here's the grand reveal. All right, this is my full strategy. Of going from zero. All right, going from $0 in sales, but $3,000 in my bank account to $20 million in a single year. And it's going from drop shipping to brand building. Now, as a part of this journey, guys, there's 4 stages. So be patient and stay with me. There's 4 stages to this process. And most of these gurus out there, these YouTubers, they don't even know how to get past stage 1, but we're going to have 4 stages. So stage 1 is using that drop shipping business model to test concept. But again, we're not going to be drop shipping the same way as everyone else, because we're going to pick a niche, all right, that we are interested in. Not a single product, not a bunch of random crap, a niche that we are interested in, and we're going to source those products from AliExpress. And we're going to choose products that are evergreen. Okay, not gimmicks, not these wow factor things, staple products that people actually want all the time. And sorry guys, my nose is a little itchy for some reason. Maybe it's out of excitement. Maybe I have a nose for value, but sorry if that's a little annoying. We're gonna pick evergreen products. And also, we want a brand identity for our business, right? We want to compete on brand while everyone else is competing on product and price. And also, we want to build something that's professional and trustworthy on Shopify, all right? Not the same free plus shipping, these gimmicky stores that customers are used to seeing. And we're going to create engaging advertisements for the business using a little stock photo and a little Photoshop magic, all right? And we're building our website on Shopify. And then we're going to leverage Facebook to target interested customers. That's stage 1. And in fact, let's actually do that step by step together. So let's just say I have a deep passion for bohemian female clothing, and I really don't. All right, I really don't know anything about it. I figured, hey, if I pick a niche, all right, that obviously has nothing to do with me, female bohemian clothing, and I'm able to make it work, then I can prove to you guys this business model is legitimate. So we're gonna go ahead and source some products. And because it's a niche store, we're looking for 3 categories of products. We're looking for bottoms, we're gonna look for dresses, and we're gonna look for accessories. So let's go ahead and start sourcing. Wow, here are all the products we have for boho pants, right? I just searched that, and wow, these are cheap, all right? And they look great. And remember, the difference between what you charge and what the cost is on AliExpress is your profit margin on your order. So those are bottoms. Let's see if we can find dresses. Wow, same thing. Some great looking products at wholesale discounted prices because it's excess inventory. I love it. And now let's look at accessories. Wow. Same thing, right? So cheap. Some of these look great. So clearly we got some great products sourced onto the website. Now let's build a brand identity, right? We want to compete on product and price. We want a brand identity. And I'm going to call this soul bottoms, right? Because it's targeting females, that are bohemian, maybe a little free soul. And you guys might be wondering, wow, that's a pretty good logo. Who'd you pay to get that done? Which creative agency did you hire? Nope. I took my own medicine, like I told you guys. Went to a stock photo website. I looked up boho logo and found this right over here. I looked up free bohemian font and found this font, okay? And with a little bit of Photoshop, all right, literally like 5-6 minutes, bam, this logo, you see how we combined that? This logo was born. So now that we made this brand, we got to make a site that we're proud of, a site that actually converts. And it's the same story. These are all stock photos of bohemian girls. These are all AliExpress photos that are provided for you. And does this look like a general store? Does this look like a single product store? No. But this is the type of legitimacy it actually takes to convert customers, all right? Look at that. That's the type of business that actually thrives in today's day and age, not those single product scams or general stores. So we built a site that we're really proud of. Now let's make some advertisements. Same thing. This is a bohemian stock photo. Look up bohemian girl. We found this girl. Did a little bit of Photoshop over here, right? A little bit of Photoshop, bam, we put it on there, okay? And this is text you can enter in on Facebook. This is the same thing. This is not the same girl. This is a random stock video of a girl doing yoga, all right? We Photoshopped the sale on top, put the AliExpress photo on top, and bam, these creatives take less than 20 minutes to make from scratch. And these are the types of advertisements that actually convert. You can't tell the difference between this and a major brand, all right? Because of the power of Photoshop and stock photos. So we made some great advertisements. Now we go on Facebook and we target potentially interested customers. So there's some bohemian interest, right? And there's also yoga interest. You guys are probably thinking about some great interests as well and types of people that would buy this. Awesome. So this is stage one. All right, and by the end of stage one, you're gonna accomplish some amazing things. You're gonna find a winning combination of products, website, advertisement, and targeting that you can now start scaling. All right, you're gonna test those things and find a winning combination. And you know what? We're gonna do something that no one else wants to do. Everyone else says, hey, don't give customers refund, no exchanges, treat them like crap because it's all about making money. No. We're going to provide responsive and generous customer support because we're indexed on long-term value. And throughout the process, as you're building out this e-commerce business, you're learning the most high-demand skills in the world, like ad strategy, like web design, like graphic design, the most high-demand skills. And you're also building out your remote team on Upwork. And the most beautiful part about this process, guys, is that you not only have a business that can make you a lot of money and consistent passive money, it's actually legitimate. You're not going to get in trouble, all right? You're actually going to make people happy. And these are some of my students that got to the end of stage one. Like Christian, doing $1,000 a day. Like Regina, she's from a different country. She's doing $288 a day. Like, oh, fair, right? From March 1st, right? Look at that. In the first 18 days of March, okay, $15,000. And again, it's one thing to see these images. It's one thing to see these results like that. It's another to actually, see it and hear it from an actual student. So you know what, Rachel? Let's go ahead and play that video by Harsha. Let's hear how does Harsha feel and how happy is he about hitting to stage one? All right, Rachel, let's play that video.
I went from literally knowing nothing to successfully growing my store to $5,000 in revenue in this first month. Hey guys, it's Harsha, and I'm only 22 years old, and I had no experience with e-commerce before I started learning from Kevin. I work a corporate job, and I just want an experience of running my own online business because I know that's the way that the world is heading. I went from literally knowing nothing to successfully growing my store to $5,000 in revenue in this first month, and I can attribute that all to Kevin. I just wanted to give him a shout out because I know that this community is one of the best e-commerce communities in the entire world.
So you guys heard from Harsha, right? You guys heard from Harsha how happy he felt. If you're inspired by Harsha's story, if you're inspired by him, let's give Harsha some love, all right? I'm going to show him a video of this. Let's give him some love. Let's everyone type in I love Harsha. Type in I love Harsha right now if you want to give him some love, because what's so great about Harsha, he did this as a side hustle while working a very intense corporate job, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And man, is he happy now that he has his own business. And guess what? If you thought stage one was amazing, all right, wait for stage two, because remember, there's 4 stages. The gurus, they don't even know how to move past stage one, and most of them, they can't even do stage one correctly. And I'm seeing some awesome questions already, but guys, wait for the Q&A, all right? There's so much more information coming up, because stage 2 is when it gets fun. You go from drop shipping to brand building, and what you're gonna do now is you have a sustainable business. You're treating customers right. You're not doing a single product or general store. It's actually lasting. You're gonna say, hey Alex, hey AliExpress agent, okay? I'm sustainable. I'm what you've always wanted, and things are gonna change a little now, right? And what are they gonna do? They're gonna give in to your demands because you're everything they've ever wanted, a sustainable e-commerce drop shipping partner. And what you're gonna say is, hey, the next time you go to the factory, I want my logo on the products. I want to improve my shipping times. I want to get to the United States in 10 days. I want to get to Australia, Canada in 12 days, all right? I want to get to customers fast enough so they're not angry anymore. And you know that hoodie I'm selling, that hoodie, I want it US sizing, and those loose threads that sometimes comes, I want that to end. And why is this agent going to say yes? Because, all right, sorry for itching my nose. I have no idea what's going on. Why is this agent going to say yes? Obviously, because you made them money. You're all they ever wanted. And the coolest thing about this, guys, the coolest thing is AliExpress prices are usually 2 to 4 times more expensive than the factory level. Remember, AliExpress is all agents. They're all entrepreneurs. And why are they charging such massive premiums? Not because they're bad people, because it gets screwed by dropshippers that come and go so much, that do those scammy business models. They have to charge that much in order to offset their losses. And stage 2 is all about this, all right? And you're still building out your team throughout this process on Upwork, but stage 2 is about this. You got something to work, all right? And now let's make sure it's actually sustainable. And this is what soul bottoms look like at the end of stage 2, all right? This is what soul bottoms looks like in stage 2. Wow. How can customers ever get angry if your products, those same AliExpress products that are now higher quality, how can they ever get angry if they're coming in this custom packaging with your brand on it? If they're coming with these tags with your brand on it? You're the same as any other e-commerce brand now. So overnight, something magical happened. You went from bootstrapping a brand using drop shipping to now having a full-fledged e-commerce brand with your logos on everything. This brand that didn't exist before, you just conjured out of air without needing to invest in inventory. But guess what? That's not it. That's just stage 2. Let's go to stage 3. So what is stage 3 all about? Well, now that you've done it so well with one store, right? You got it branded, it's sustainable, customers are happy. You're going to go to your AliExpress agent, you're going to go to Alex and say, hey, I want exclusivity. All right, I made you a lot of money. I'm actually sustainable. I'm treating customers right. I'm delivering value. You got me those logos, but now you can't work with anyone else. All right, if you're that hot prom queen and I'm the high school quarterback, you can't be talking with other boys anymore. And guess what? They're gonna say yes. And this is also how I got my team on the ground in China. It's free. All right, they're just going to agree to work exclusively with you, and now you have a full-fledged team on the ground in China. And at this point, the focus is on building out more of those remote teams on Upwork, so you can start freeing up your time. Now you can use that time to either grow even more, or we can use that time to spend it with your loved ones and your family. Now that you've done it well with one niche, all you do is go into other niches, right? And you do the same process over and over and over again. And throughout this process, you're mastering the e-commerce toolkit that every organization wants. All right, everyone wants this e-commerce toolkit. For 30 minutes of my time, I charge $1,000 to some of these corporate clients, and this is what $20 million in sales single year looks like. This is the infrastructure I was able to build through Upwork and AliExpress. All right, starting with only $3,000, this is what you are able to build. And again, it's one thing to hear from me and my story. Let's actually hear it from a student. Let's hear it from a student that got to stage 3. All right, so Rachel, let's go ahead and play that video by Austin. I think everyone wants to meet Austin. Let's see how Austin's doing in stage 3. Rachel, let's go.
I don't really talk about my success, but I'll throw up a couple slides. Of what we look like and how much we've made. This your boy Austin, I just want to give a quick shout out to Kevin Zhang. I've been able to grow substantially. The experience has been great. He's helped me come from like six figures to substantial seven figures, going to eight figures, and then he's always been there in the content he produces. And provides is just so valuable. I don't really talk about my success, but I'll throw up a couple slides of what we look like and how much we've made in the past 2 months. And I look forward to just growing with Kevin and his team moving forward. And I hope you decide to come to.
All right, guys. So you heard from Austin. He was at six figures.